Welcome to the Yara Technologies Vodcast series. Through this program, we bring short conversations with senior educators on contemporary topics related to education and education technology.
Welcome to Yara Technologies Vodcast series. I am Shanaz. Through this program, we bring short conversations with senior educators in the education segment on contemporary topics related to education. I am delighted to have the managing directors of MapleBear Canadian Preschool, Ms. Shanaz Sahabdeen, on our Vodcast program. Shanaz Nazreen Sahabdeen is the managing director and coordinating principal of MapleBear Canadian School, Colombo, Sri Lanka's first global school, and the managing director and coordinating principal of Cambridge International School. She is also the country representative and local partner of Clanbeat Education Limited, Tallinn, Estonia. Shanaz comes from a family of edupreneurs. She founded the Cambridge International School in Anuradhapura, the first international school in the North Central Province in 2005, and then established and opened the MapleBear Education School in Colombo in 2017, which is a direct franchise of one of the world's largest and fastest expanding global school chains, MapleBear Global School Canada. Being a second-generation Rotarian, she loves working on youth and child development projects. She is also a school consultant, a trainer, and who enjoys working with teenagers and young adults. Good morning, Shanaz. Thank you for joining the program.
Hi, Sarah. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for inviting me in for this wonderful discussion this morning. I also would like to take this opportunity to thank the management of Talkative Parents, which is education and finance-based company, as well as the team members who are present here for all the support and cooperation to get this interview on today. And I'm delighted and I'm honored to be here having a chat with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Shanaz. So the first question that I'm going to ask from you is that our world has become more and more reliant on technology. It has become a foundational component in many areas of our daily lives, as well as our children's. But technology can be both beneficial and problematic for students. So what are the pros and cons of exposing the child to the digital world? And what do you think are the solutions for potential challenges?
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Listening to your question, your first question, I would say I will summarize that into 4 sections. And your first line has the answer. You said it all. You said we are becoming more and more reliant on technology. Yes, we cannot deny the fact that we are more and more getting used to or getting dependent on technology, which in my opinion is not a bad thing. If you ask me, the second, as I told you, I will break this into 4. So first, yes, you have the answer. And I would say the conclusion is, yes, I agree on that. You also mentioned the second thing, the technologies beneficial as well as problematic. Let me start with that. Technology, yes, is beneficial and problematic, depends on the end user and the type of technology that you're using. I'll give you a very simple example. Someone goes to a marketplace, they buy, we'll say for an example, a hair curler, which is electronic, right? They bring back the hair curler. They're not aware of the use of the hair curler. They are not aware of the instructions. They are not aware of the power consumption or whatever. You plug it into a wrong plug. You use that for a different purpose. if you want to, put some material or fabric to straighten, you're going to destroy it, right? But then whereas you use it for the purpose that it is made, or you have an awareness on what it should be, used for, you're able to get the right use. So technology is exactly like that. That's a very layman's example that I gave you right now. You have to have an awareness about the technology before you use it, whether it is an educator, a school, or a parent. They should be aware of what they're getting into. That's step number one.
Sure.
So when you know what you're using, you will definitely be able to understand whether it is beneficial or whether it is problematic. I would say in most of the cases, it becomes problematic when you don't know how much, where to draw the line, how much to use, or in which sort of activities you use. People overdo things. That's why it becomes problematic. I'll touch on that in a little while. While moving on to the next, the third step, third component of that same question, you also ask, what are the pros and cons of exposing the child to the digital world? Again, I would say, how much ever it is, whatever you do, there's always two sides of any story. Say, for an example, you take a coin, you have two sides. How much ever you cut it, you slice it, you still have two sides. So you have pros, you have cons. So it is up to you. It is up to the user, as in, it could be parents, children. Obviously, children are small; they can't make decisions of their own. That is why we have, adults who would guide them. It could be the school, it could be the parents. So now, when you say pros and cons, I will just touch on a small statistic. Unfortunately, I don't have the exact statistic here. When I did another speech like this last year, I came across a fact that during the COVID time, when we all were switched to, what do you call the virtual platform online, there were children. Now, if you take children, we have introverts and extroverts. We don't use that term, but that's what the fact. Now, a child who performed well in a physical classroom did not perform very well in a virtual classroom. Whereas the statistics prove that a child who did not perform well in a physical classroom had performed 80% better in a virtual classroom. Reason why is because children became very comfortable in an isolated, environment. It gave them an opportunity to strengthen their confidence. It gave them an opportunity to be out there without any fear, because it was virtual. So this is one learning or one study which has been proven, put out there. If you can go and do a small Google search and see, 80% of the children, those who were introvert, 80% they have performed better during online classes, saying that there are still parents asking us for online classes. They say, no, my child is very comfortable with online classes. But personally, as an educator, I wouldn't encourage online classes, because we are human beings. At the end of the day, it's all about human connection, one-to-one connection. A child growing up, for a human being, it's very, very important that you have human interaction.
Sure.
Saying that change is an inevitable thing. We can't stop change. If we are to go forward, embracing the technology and the change, we have to go ahead and do that. So that's the only way forward. So moving back, you also asked me what I think the solution for potential challenges would be. I would say, going one step forward to your question there, we spoke about the pros and cons. We spoke about only the pros, and the cons would be, the disadvantage would be a child will not have human connection when you are mostly on a online platform, when you are isolated with technology. Plus, it is very important that the children or the parents take care of their child's or a group of children mental health, because the more and more you, if there are doctors watching this, they will agree with me. Even psychologists would agree with me. The more and more you spend time with a blue light, because technology is nothing but spending time on a device, whatever you're using. It could be whatever the platform, but it is on a device. So you're exposed to the blue light, which is causing a serious damage to a growing up child, to their brain. So that's one of the disadvantages. Now, coming back, if you ask me, how do we overcome this challenge? Bringing in a balance. It's very important. We have a balance. We strike a balance in everything, not just technology, in our life. It's very important when children grow up. It's the duty of the parents and the educators to come to some middle point and come to an understanding. This is how much that we expose the child to technology. You have to have a limit. Anything limitless, especially technology, will be disastrous. So I would say technology is very important. To summarize my answers to that particular first question, technology is very important. Like I said earlier, change is inevitable. We have to embrace it. We have to evolve with the changing world and embrace technology. The challenge comes when you embrace technology. How do you use technology, and who uses it? Who is the end user? Whether the end user is aware of the pros and cons of technology. And as parents and educators, they can help a child help a child to bring in that awareness, and draw a line and say, this much is where you are allowed, this much is where you can use, and bring in a balance. How do you bring in a balance? Divert the child, not only for the child, even for adults. It's very important. Now you guys are working on the computers. You work for about more than 3 hours, 4 hours. Your eye would start aching. You would get a headache. You feel dizzy, uneasy. So your heads would probably say, take a walk, take a break, have some water. So take a walk is change of scene. So for children, it is very important. Now, at our schools, we guide the parents. We generally, have workshops, especially on use of screen time, and we have a set protocol on screen time. So I'm sure a lot of schools can come up with certain set rules that they would like their parents to take care of or pay attention to when their children are exposed to technology. So again, it's very important, the support system. For a child, the support system is his or her surrounding, which is first would be the parents, then the immediate family, then the school, and the community. So, all these parties should go hand in hand. If the school is unable to do that, I'm sure as responsible, people, parents should be able to do that on behalf in order to take care of the child's well-being when they use technology. And I'm sure, though I can talk a lot on this topic, I would limit it to this much.
Yeah, but Shanaz, the second question is actually about the child's well-being. So thank you for the informative talk. So like I said, the next question, since you're working with young adults and children, the emotion, the social, and the physical development of young children has a direct effect on their overall development and on the adult they will become. So This is why understanding the need to invest in very young children is so important. So as to maximize their future well-being, what are your views on this?
Yes, that's a very interesting question, Sarah, because it's a topic which I would always talk with my parents and which I love talking about, because it is, though it had been put down in 4 lines, it is a vast subject, a very important subject, a subject which every parent and an educator should pay attention to, because it is the most important subject in a child's development. Right. A child's social and emotional well-being. Let me start by telling you, we work with children from the ages of 12 months in our preschool till 19 years in the upper sections. We have to pay attention to every age group equally in different levels pertaining to this particular topic, which is called social and emotional well-being. Let me start by giving you a small example. I'm sure you have seen a lump of clay, which is natural clay, right? If you want to make something out of it, you have to make sure there's moisture in that clay. If you want to mold that into whatever, you have to have moisture. So I would say that a small kid's a toddler. Let's start with a toddler because I can't go beyond that. A toddler is a kid, a child, someone just like this lump of clay, which is with moisture and ready to be molded. So an educator and a parent should keep in mind that they have to mold it into whatever the shape that they are molding. They have to do it consistently. They have to do it carefully. They have to pay a lot of attention to it, because if you twist and turn too much, it's going to break. And if you don't keep up to the timeline, if you don't, mold it into whatever you're supposed to mold, the moisture is going to dry off, which means you won't be able to, see the end result. So now this moisture and the clay is what we are talking about: social and emotional well-being. One of the very important part in a child's development. We as educators at a very early stage, we pay attention to 8 developmental areas of a child. So let me not go into all 8 areas. My favorite and one of the most important is social and emotional well-being. Now, let me ask everyone a question, those who are watching this here. Why is it important? Why is social and emotional well-being important? No, it's not important. You just give them an education, you give them good food, clothing, and expose them to whatever the opportunity is available. That's fine, because most of the parents and most of the schools, very sad to say, they do not pay attention to this important thing called social and emotional well-being. People focus on the other matters like literacy development, subject development, cognitive development, gross motor skills, soft motor skills. All that is being taken care, leaving out this. It is like you, in this part of the world, in South Asia, we are rice eaters. So we make rice, right? It's like you cook your rice, but you forget to add salt, which is of no use. If there's no salt in the rice, it's not going to be completed, or it's not going to be tasty. So it is very, very important that every educator as well as parents take care of social and emotional well-being. Why? Is because a child's development, how do you measure this development? You see, of course, a child is reading, writing, singing. There's a very important formula for success. You also asked me, but how will this social and emotional thing would help someone become a better person for tomorrow? There's something called confidence. And it is the responsibility of the school and the parent to make sure that every child is a confident child. You make sure that the child becomes confident. How do you give this confidence? Can you teach confidence? Can't. Again, we are talking about technology, we are talking about human, we are human. Human are, human would want love, affection, attention, appreciation. Anyone, even if you have a pet at home, that pet needs a little bit of, patting on the head. So if anyone can do this social experiment, this has been done with the plants. You keep 2 plants and scold at a plant at all times, or keep that plant in an environment where there's always conflict, fights and things like that, and keep the same identical plant in another environment where there's always laughter, happiness, love and good words. Or you just keep in 2 different rooms, and over a period of 1 week you go and talk to the plant, scold the plant, abuse the plant, and then go, very sorry to say this, I don't like to use the words abusive and the negative words, but just that it's an example. So you go to the other plant and talk all good words and appreciate the plant and say that you love the plant and all. When you finish this experiment, when you bring it onto a table after a week's time, you will see the difference. So this is a plant we are talking about, a pet we are talking about. How important do you think this social and emotional well-being for a child who is growing up? A small mind. You should never tell your children, look, you have not done this, you're not doing this, you're unable to do it, you were never able to make it. No, this is what you call social and emotional well-being. Give them a hug, say that you love them, say that they are doing an excellent job, even if a child is not performing well. Dear parents, those who are watching here, I'm a mother myself. Maybe we are not the most perfect people, but at all times, whenever it's possible, please do the right thing. Because what you do today is your investment towards your child for next, forever, till the time a person is living in this earth. It reflects on that person. And on that, I will quickly touch another thing. There are parents, they come and tell me, Madam, my child is 17, my child is 18. I couldn't do anything much with my child. Whatever you're telling me right now about social and emotional well-being, this is something which I didn't know. This is something that I didn't pay attention to. I sent my child for tuition classes. We did our best, but the child didn't turn out to be the best. And I feel sad that I couldn't give that love, affection, and attention to my child. I regret. To all people, all parents, those who feel like that, I would say it's not late. Again, we are dealing with human being. A human being, a child can be corrected and changed in their area of social and emotional well-being till the time a child is 21. So if your child is 16, 14, 15, do not worry, mothers, fathers out there, grandparents or guardians, it is never late for anything. Now is the time. And then if someone is more than 21, still you can, because we are human. It's not proven by science, but I'm sure and confident that it can be done. So social and emotional well-being is the important platform or foundation, I would say, for a child's development, which each and every parent, as well as educational institutes, should pay attention.
This question and this answer actually is really relevant to me also. Thank you, Miss Shanaz.
Yara Technologies EdTech platform Talkative Parents connects schools, educators, parents and students via one integrated platform. The platform comprises of cross-channel communication, AI-driven data analytics, e-learning, online school fee payments, and EduLoan for school fee collection. You can visit our website or social media pages for more information.